It is the last Thursday of the month of February 2026. And the news tonight.
Our passports have been sold to warlords. Arraigned and RSF have been accused of crimes against humanity, murder and rape, and they're wanted, but they are traveling with a Kenyan document.
It is a passport fiesta at Nyayo House. Activist Boniface Mwangi alleges Kenyan passports being dished out to foreigners, including Sudan rebel group RSF.
They needed to recruit trained ex-military personnel who can join the Russian army.
Inside the Syndicate to export Kenyans to Russia. A Citizen TV investigative report as suspected recruiter is arraigned.
We know our constitution is quite express in terms of public consultation.
It is an accountability dark hole. Public Participation Forum continues to cast doubt on Ruto's proposed National Infrastructure Fund. Factions, tear gas and goons. Who owns them? It is an identification parade on the news gang. My name is Yvonne Okwara. I'm sitting in for Sam Gituku tonight, and Yula Nzale is our sign language interpreter. Let us begin tonight with a leaked internal document from the Directorate of Immigration Services revealing a shocking trend by President William Ruto's administration to dish out Kenyan passports to foreign individuals for what can only be perceived as private and personal purposes. From a high-profile Zimbabwean entrepreneur to high-ranking figures from the Sudan rebel Rapid Support Forces, the list of questionable issuing of Kenyan passports is growing long. Political activist and presidential aspirant Boniface Mwangi blew the whistle today, posting on social media the alleged leaked document packed with a list of foreigners who are now Kenyan passport holders. Brenda Wanga reports.
The list, allegedly sourced from the Immigration Department, shows a surge in both new and renewal passport applications for individuals whose ties to Kenya are at best a mystery and at worst a national security threat. Among the names processed in recent months are those belonging to the inner circles of foreign political factions currently embroiled in conflict in Sudan. Among those are Omar Bashir Mohamed Manis, a name identical to former high-ranking officials in the Sudanese government. Multiple entries for individuals sharing the surname of powerful Rapid Support Forces paramilitary leader in Sudan, Hamdan Dagalo, also better known as Hemedti, including Mayada Hamdan, Abdarrahman Hamdan, Zahra Hamdan, Zariwa Hamdan, and Musa Hamadan Musa. A separate document from the United States also shows that Algoni Hamdan Daglo, a designated individual for his links to the Rapid Support Forces, holds a Kenyan passport. Boniface Mwangi, who blew the whistle on this passport scandal, says this is a stain on Kenya's identity.
Our passports have been sold to warlords. Arraigned and RSF have been accused of crimes against humanity, murder and rape, and they're wanted, but they are traveling with a Kenyan document. So what actually happens as a Kenyan, when you travel with a Kenyan passport, and become suspicious because you don't know who is a legit Kenyan and a non-Kenyan who bought a passport.
Also included on that list is controversial flamboyant Zimbabwean businessman and socialite Wicknell Munodani Chivayo, named at the center of massive graft probe in Zimbabwe. He is also a frequent visitor to Kenya, often seen posing for photos with the head of state. The issuance of Kenyan passports to people with suspect backgrounds goes beyond corruption, according to Mwangi.
So the Kenyan document is very sacrosanct. It's like our identity. Now, our government is selling our identity to foreigners for maybe the price of beans, or I don't know what's the reason why they're selling the passports to foreigners.
According to Mwangi, these individuals were issued passports unprocedurally. To get a passport in Kenya, one must prove that they are citizens by birth by producing a national identity card and a birth certificate. For foreigners, one must have resided in Kenya for at least 7 years and must be proficient in Kiswahili or English. They also must have made a tangible contribution to the country's economy or society, and their application must be gazetted. Some of the persons on this list appear to have bypassed the 7-year residency requirement. Mwangi now wants those passports revoked and those responsible for this breach be held accountable.
And number 3, the people who are involved in issuing the fake passports should be first fired, then investigated and taken to court. So heads must roll, but rolling is not being fired enough. People must go to jail for selling Kenyan sovereignty.
Former Chief Justice, in a post on his official X handle, also condemns the issuance of the passports to the Sudan leader, calling for the immediate revocation of the same. He states that Kenyan citizenship should not be extended at the convenience of power, as it amounts to a state's declaration that the bearer is one of us. Efforts to get a response from the Ministry of Interior on this matter did not yield results, as our inquiries went unanswered. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Festus Arasa Omwamba, the key suspect in the alleged Russia human trafficking ring, has pleaded not guilty to charges of trafficking in prisons before the Kahawa law courts. The 33-year-old was arrested by officers from Moyale police station while allegedly attempting to flee the country through the Moyale border into a neighboring country. Investigators believe he was part of a network suspected of facilitating illegal travel and exploitation of victims under the guise of job opportunities. Prosecutors told the court that Omwamba has been under investigation for alleged involvement in human trafficking, an offence contrary to the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act. His lawyer, Bonaventure Otieno, has opposed the charges, maintaining that his client is innocent and challenging the basis of the prosecution's case. The matter is set to proceed as the court considers bail terms and further direction. And we want to stay on that story tonight. Hundreds of Kenyans have been lured to the ongoing Ukraine-Russian war, leaving families in distress following reports of deaths in the battlefields. Since Citizen TV first exposed the story, many families have come out to look for answers. But months later, the government is yet to tell Kenyans what really transpired, apart from one suspect who was arrested and taken to court. Tonight, we expose the inside networks, how government officials from the Department of Defense, Immigration, DCI, and the Ministry of Labor have been aiding the export of Kenyans to the Russian war. Here is Citizen TV's investigative reporter, Ode Francis, on tonight's special feature, The Russian Syndicate.
On October 11, 2025, an investigation by Citizen TV exposed a syndicate many Kenyans would hardly believe.
Nilitoka na tourist visa. Nikiambiwa nikifika huko natafutiwa kazi.
Young men were being recruited and flown to Russia, not for jobs, not for studies, but to fight as soldiers in the ongoing war against Ukraine. What began as a shocking revelation has since unfolded into a trail of anguish. For months, we have continued to document the pain, the unanswered questions, and the growing fear that more Kenyans would be trapped in a war far from home. The government has remained largely silent, issuing brief, careful worded statements offering little clarity about the network behind the recruitment. For weeks, we have been tracing one man believed to be at the center of this operation, the man who insiders say secured the deal to send Kenyans to fight for the Russian army. For his own safety, we will refer to him as Reds. In exclusive conversations, Reds made explosive claims. He alleges that very senior individuals within government structures are aware of and possibly involved in the export of Kenyan fighters to Russia. It all began with a phone call in December 2024. On the other end of the line, a Russian national who introduced himself as Mike, a man we have now established to be Mikhail Lyapin. Investigations show Lyapin was operating in Kenya and was in a company of another Russian national identified as Dmitry, a man said to have links with the Kenyan embassy. Their pitch was direct: recruit young Kenyan men, facilitate their travel to Russia, and deploy them into the Russian army. A deal dressed as opportunity, but one that Red says he immediately knew was dangerous. Still, he took it up.
Well, on the issue of Russian recruitment, I have one friend by name Mike.
According to our findings, Reds began reaching out to contacts within Kenya's security establishment. His search led him to a senior officer at the DOD headquarters.
The opportunity was they needed to recruit trained ex-military personnel who can join the Russian army. The specification was strictly someone had to be from the forces or from the police, or either having basic paramilitary training like the NYS. At that time, when he approached me, I had a contract of recruiting security guards to Qatar and Dubai, which I had quite deployed a good number.
In April 2025, Reds convened a meeting at a popular entertainment joint along Mombasa Road, where they presented details of the Russian deal, an arrangement the army brigadier promptly accepted.
When he asked me about that, I told him the best thing I could do is to find some friends from the defense forces and ask them how that can be done. So I approached a few friends in the Department of Defense, and they told me it was something possible, they could give it a trial. One of the friends that I actually went to ask, the first guy, he told me that's a deal. Yeah, ni biashara hiyo leta. So I linked them with the guy, with the Russian guy.
Then Reds relayed positive feedback to Russian Mike, informing him that the army brigadier had agreed to join the deal. The next individual they contacted was another high-ranking officer at the DCI headquarters. The DCI officer also quickly accepted the deal. At this point, the Russian deal had secured the endorsement of high-ranking officers at the DOD and at DCI headquarters. Reds returned feedback to Mike saying that both had accepted the deal. The next connection to cover up the syndicate was top Ministry of Labour officials who were the link to the travel and labour export agencies, and the Association of Skilled Migrants Agencies of Kenya, ASMAC chairman Francis Wahome was looped in and endorsed the deal. The Immigration Department was the next government agency to be drawn into the syndicate. These officials were the first to reach an agreement with the Russian operative, Mikhail. Their role in the deal was straightforward: to turn a blind eye to the recruitment activities while facilitating the transportation of Kenyans to the Russian army. Citizen TV has established that bribe package for the syndicate was structured per individual transported to Russia. Labour officials received 5,000 shillings per person. DCI officer at the airport received 20,000 shillings per person, and immigration officers received a staggering 50,000 shillings per person. This is the message that those who wanted to travel to Russia received upon enquiry. It read: age between 21 to 47 years with no diseases, physically fit and willing to work in the army, understanding the risk of the job of a soldier in the army in the Ministry of Defense of Russia on a contract basis on a period of 1 year. Conditions of the offer were a one-time bonus of 1.6 million shillings, agency services fee of 650,000 shillings, which included airplane tickets, visa, transport, accommodation, food and full support till successful employment. The job had a monthly salary of 280,000 scalable.
So all the documentation the visas, the air tickets, the invitation letters and everything were fully arranged by Mike. Yeah. So what was basically happening from our side, various agents and various people, was just a referral. You make a referral to this guy does all the other processes until someone travels.
We sampled over 10 text WhatsApp messages of this nature, and all recipients of these messages acknowledged the risk and replied by being ready and willing to join the Russian army. We proceeded to determine whether the individuals were coerced. The videos shared with the recruiter followed a standardized format in which participants acknowledged the risks involved in joining the Russian army. We collected more than 15 videos, all recorded by Kenyans who voluntarily chose to travel.
I want to get a job in the Russian army.
I want to get this job in Russian army.
I understand the risks of working in the army.
That's what I've been passionate to serve the military all my life.
I am an ex-KDF police.
I understand all the risks associated with working in the army.
I am asking your company to assist me to go through enrollment procedure to join the army of the Ministry of the Defense of Russian Federation.
Assist me on how to join the Russian army in the ongoing recruitment.
Because they have strong army, I am asking your company to assist me to go through enrollment procedure.
I want to get a job in Russian army, and I understand all the risks associated with the working in the army.
A significant number of inexperienced Kenyans were sent to serve on the Russian front line.
However, I'm aware that quite a number of guys traveled who had no experience. And these guys, most of them faked that they were trained and they were ex-military guys. And to that effect, this guy, the Russian, was recording a lot of videos, video interviews related to experience. And you can see clearly from the videos, the guys are confirming to him that they are well trained, or rather they are ready for the task. Yes, so that's how they ended up joining.
Our investigation revealed that after the visa processing, which took 7 days, the recruits were housed in accommodations at various locations, including Great Wall Gardens in Mavoko, Kiserian, Roysambu and Nyayo estates. While there, they were shown combat videos to prepare them for what to expect in Russian training, alongside lessons in Russian language.
During the accommodation period, these guys were being taken through a thorough training of what to expect, basic learning of Russian language, and they were actually being shown the combat training videos of what they expect to meet once they arrive in Russia.
Citizen TV obtained over 100 e-visa issued up to 10th October 2025 from the Consular Department of the Russian Federation's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These documents could not have been issued without the involvement of the Kenyan government. We investigated further for any agreements between Kenya and Russia on labor export and discovered a document file number 1971 at the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, issued by the Embassy of the Russian Federation. The document confirmed that Kenyan citizens were eligible for electronic visa to enter Russia, indicating that the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs was aware of the travel. This plan had been in motion since December 2024. Another critical document in our possession is this document from Russian government, identified as Center for Development of Economic, Culture, Social Ties, Trade and Business Relations with African Countries, signed by its president, a strategic department that would be used to transport Africans to Russia. To substantiate this, we obtained a document issued to a former Special Forces officer in Kenya who was granted a visit visa that would lead him into the Russian military. The visa was scheduled for 20th April 2025 to 4th May 2025, intended as a 14-day visa. However, Reagan never returned to Kenya. Instead, he was absorbed into the Russian army, sustained injuries and remained in Russia. he reportedly received compensation for his injury.
I knew very well that war is dangerous, and the defense guys that approached me, and I referred them to this Russian, were fully aware. I even asked them, what happens if you guys die? They were saying that's our job. We either kill or get killed. That was their response.
Our investigations further revealed a disturbing pattern that the government of Kenya and the Russian embassy were fully aware of the export of Kenyans to Russia. This document from the head of consular shared names of 23 individuals whom we have confirmed to be part of the recruits who went to serve in the Russian army. Statements from individuals rescued by police before being trafficked in October detailed what transpired and with those involved in the syndicate. From the statements, the scam typically begins with a trusted contact, a friend, relative, or former colleague dangling tales of opportunity. The dossier exposes a loosely organized syndicate operating with a network of middlemen, each playing a distinct role in a wider scheme. An agency, Talent Shepherd, located opposite Kasarani police station, was responsible for luring recruits with promises of security jobs. 4 other men and women are named as being in charge of issues including medical procedures that were handled at Inspocare Hospital in Nairobi, transport logistics and international operations to recruit from countries such as Turkey. Edward Gituku, who was later arrested in raids, controlled apartments, confiscated passports and coordinated flights. We have also established and obtained a Russian military contract. It specifies the parties involved, the Russian Federation, represented by the head of specific military units. In this case, Captain A. Arsiat, among the obligation being ensuring the provision of military service to military personnel in accordance with the Article 11 of the Federal Law number 76 FZ for the duration of military service or payment of monetary compensation from the federal budget. The term of military service or personnel set at 5 years or more, excluding the time of training.
The contract highlights everything. The terms of service. In case of injury, for instance, we have guys who already got injuries. I know quite a number of them, and they have been compensated. Yeah, we have guys who had some serious injuries, who are hospitalized in various parts of Russia, and they have also been paid. And we also have a scenario whereby someone is deceased or they lose their life during combat operations. The contract also indicates that they get compensated. I don't have the exact figure, but I'm told it's around 13 million Kenyan shillings.
We wanted to know who are the receivers of Kenyan recruits in Russia. Our investigations landed on this document dated 23rd September 2025 that a flight landed in Moscow. On board, 2 men from Africa, foreign citizens scheduled to report for military service in Russia. Their names, Obori Dennis Bagaka and Magero Jeremiah Orio. Both were expected to arrive at the military service selection point in Yuroslav Unit 2. The letter is clear. It lists their identities, their passports, their flight details, even names the officers responsible for receiving them: Zakipov Zumagat Abdimalikovich and Lieutenant Loskutov Alexander Sergeyevich. This is the address where the recruits were supposed to report. The military service selection point category 2, headed by Major A. Kuznetov. But according to multiple sources, the whereabouts of Omburi and Magero are scanty. 2 men, 2 passports, 1 flight, a paper trail that ends abruptly. Were Ombori Dennis Bagaka and Magero Jeremiah Orio lost in bureaucracy, intercepted by another agency, or victims of something darker? This narrative exposes a common lure: salaries far exceeding Kenyan norms, targeting the unemployed or unpaid, often with military backgrounds for security roles that mask combat duties. Once hooked, victims pay processing fee ranging from 15,000 to 70,000 for medicals, visa, and accommodation. Passports are collected, sometimes expedited via insiders at Nyayo House for extra bribes. Recruits are then handed to holding sites, primarily Great Wall Gardens Estate in Athi River, Mavoko.
The reason that's why we have all these problems in the country, in the media and everywhere, is because people who have nothing, no information about the military, are rushing and joining into military. It's a very risky affair.
Statements describe overcrowded apartments, 7 to 14 people in 2 or 3 bedroomed units, with basic food provided by caretakers. Here, they await flights, signing vague contracts deducting commissions from future earnings. Edward, a central figure, holds meetings, collects shoe sizes for uniforms, and assures imminent departure. But the truth emerges in interrogations. Jobs are for Russia's military in Ukraine. Victims learn post-raid that Kenyans in Russia were not doing well and some had been injured. One group, per statement, flew via Turkish Airlines to Moscow on September 17, 2025, only to be detained at the airport, passports seized, and deported back via Turkey after 18 hours, arriving empty-handed on September 20th, 2025. Raids rescued over 22 Kenyans across apartments, with victims instructed to report to DCI headquarters for statements. Edward faced charges of trafficking in person, yet some slipped through. Statements mention groups flying out days before raids, like 113 officers listed in one account. Russian government has so far denied Lyapin being an employee of Russian government bodies and does not work at the Russian embassy in Nairobi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I have the
National Intelligence Report tabled in Parliament discloses that close to 1,000 estimated to be in Russia did not travel from Kenya.
39 are hospitalized, 30 have been repatriated, 28 are missing in action, 35 deployed in camps or bases, 89 are on the front line, 1 is detained, and 1 has completed the contract.
Red says up to 2,000 Kenyan would have ended up in Russia. On the surface, it looked like an opportunity to escape unemployment, but beneath the veneer lay a machinery of corruption fueled by bribes.
Kenyans are also going to Ukraine. I can give you 6 that I know who joined the Ukrainian army, and the procedure is a bit different from the Russian one. Because for Ukraine, they don't have e-visa for Kenya. So you have to obtain the visa from the embassy, just the normal visa that you process through the embassy. For Russia, you don't have to go to the embassy. You just go online, a few clicks here and there, you have the visa.
The scandal exposes more than just corruption. It reveals a system where officials entrusted with safeguarding citizens instead exploit them. Each bribe was not just money exchanged. It was a betrayal of trust, a sale of dignity, a perpetuation of inequality. Now with the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi set to visit Russia in the coming week, it is expected much more is to come for in the saga that continues to unfold. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
The rush to Russia, will definitely be looking forward to more updates on that, especially as Ode Francis said there, the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary making a trip to the country, the Republic of Russia. Let's take a break here on the program tonight. Also a reminder, we've got more news to come as well as News Gang. There's much to dissect in the weeks happening. Let's take a break here tonight. We'll be right back.
It is above board.
Sakaja defends cooperation with Ruto as senators demand that legal loopholes in the deal be addressed before full implementation.
I wish I could have soft and glowing skin.
New Geisha Black Soap with activated charcoal to give you soft and glowing skin. New Geisha Black Soap and New Geisha Moringa.
Mama, mkiendelea kufunga mtapata nini? Allah atajibu maombi yako yote. Kipi kingine watu hufanya?
Wanakuwa wakarimu zaidi na kusaidia wenzao.
Let's forget about our differences and share our goodness.
Leo tupike pilau. We'll start by frying our onions, then adding our minced garlic. Once the garlic is fragrant, we'll go in with our Royco pilau masala. We'll let it fry up with the onions so that it blooms the flavor. And then we'll add in our very soft boiled meat and potatoes. Go in with Royco cubes for an extra build of flavor and some salt to taste. And now it's time to add in your rice. Give it a good mix, then we'll add in our beef broth or hot water. Once it comes to a boil, cover and cook on low until all the water is evaporated. Just like that, our pilau is ready. Serve hot with your favorite kachumbari on the side and enjoy.
Your mother's love is with you wherever you go. It starts with little moments of courage, to stepping out into the new world with confidence. Stay soft. Nothing lasts like mom's love.
To soothe irritated and dry skin, Vaseline's healing power is able to penetrate beneath the surface of the skin. This is because Vaseline is made with unique blends of waxes and oils that melt into the spaces between skin cells. This promotes natural moisture regulation to deliver effective skin protection against dryness. Use Vaseline because it is the first step to maintaining natural, healthy-looking skin.
New Pepsodent Herbal, introducing a unique combination of natural ingredients with herbal extracts, salt and mint in an antibacterial formula for fresh breath, strong teeth and healthy gums that protects you and your family. Pepsodent Herbal, every smile matters.
February is coming to an end. The excitement fades, and what remains are the decisions that last. A roof is not a gift, it's not a trial, it's commitment to protect your home, your family, your future. This last week of February, Kidani Mabati is making it easier to build right. Enjoy end-month offers, free delivery countrywide, and quality you can trust long after the month ends. Don't postpone what matters. Build once, build right. Tujenge Kenya na Kidani Mabati.
Welcome back. Now, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce wants all withdrawals and expenditures from the proposed 5 trillion shillings National Infrastructure Fund be subjected to parliamentary approval. Civil society group under the umbrella Okoa Uchumi Platform expressed concern over Treasury's role in the National Infrastructure Fund Management Board, calling for a citizen-driven public participation before the National Infrastructure Fund Bill 2026 becomes law.
Quorum of the meeting.
With the stakeholder engagements on the National Infrastructure Fund Bill 2026 coming to a close ahead of Friday's public engagement at KICC, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce poked holes in the bill, which they say is giving too much power to the executive. Chamber of Commerce cited major oversight gaps in the proposed management structure of the 5 trillion shillings fund and called for amendments to the bill.
We are trying to cushion the board from arbitrary removal from office by the executive, and our proposal is to ensure that the process of removal is tabled before this very house to ensure that there is board independence.
Presenting its memoranda to the National Assembly Finance Committee, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce called for a citizen-driven public participation exercise in order to gather views of ordinary Kenyans before the bill undergoes its second reading in Parliament.
There is no provision for public participation. We know our constitution is quite express in terms of public consultation.
Civil society organizations under the umbrella Okua Uchumi want the excess power given to the executive through the Treasury Cabinet Secretary reduced.
What would deter me from actually making sure that the process of selling this particular entity happens, because I am bound to benefit as a board member going forward?
The administrator who controls the bank accounts, the expenditure and the withdrawals is a designee of the CS without board confirmation or parliamentary approval required.
It's possible to have someone with expertise on youth employment, social infrastructure, planning or labor market development.
The government should try and also be very intentional about the how to engage young people, because young people are willing to engage, only that you have to offer them a very safe space.
The final engagements on the National Infrastructure Fund Bill 2026 will conclude on Friday at KICC. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
One person was injured and property destroyed after chaos erupted at the Evurore ward by-elections in Embu. The incident occurred at the Njarage Primary School polling centre, causing temporary disorder. In Kakamega, one person was arrested on allegations of disrupting the voting exercise in the West Kabras by-election. Laura Tieno now reports on the ward by-elections, which were marred by allegations of voter suppression.
On Thursday morning, thousands of West Kabras residents flooded various polling centres to participate in the by-elections. Scores of voters encountered hitches in the biometric identification process, causing delays in the voting exercise.
Nilikuja hapa saa 12 asubuhi. Nimekaa hapa nikiwa na hamu sana ya kupiga kura. Hatukufika saa hii, laini imekuwa ndefu. Nimekaa kwa laini mpaka hata nimechoka. Mashini ya huko ndani inafanya kazi polepole.
One person was arrested at the Imbiakalo polling centre on allegations of planning to disrupt the elections. Some of the leaders alleging an elaborate plot in what they say were organized attacks.
Other people have not even campaigned. They were just waiting for the last day. Kukuja na gonism, kukuja na bribery, inaendelea all over. But we are saying that whichever way they do, we are confident that we are going to win this seat.
Former Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala castigating what he said was the exaggerated deployment of police officers and accusing leaders allied to government of misusing state agencies.
There has been voter suppression because police, over 150 police officers were roving around this side. They have tear-gassed us. Yes. They have used the administration officers. However, I believe and I'm certain that my people have voted their conscience in the ballot.
In Mbeere North constituency, one person was injured in a scuffle that broke out at Njarage Primary School. Kelvin Mwenda, an agent of the DP candidate, claiming to have been attacked by supporters of one of the candidates in the election.
Wameni-attack, wamenichapa, unaona kichwa huku naumia na kimbisho hospitali sahi, at least nimepiga ripoti kwa polisi. Na pia nauliza maafisa wetu wa polisi, kila mahali na ikiwezekana waongezeke hapa. Tunataka kutuma hiyo ujumbe huko juu.
As at now the turnout is slow,
But we hope, because yesterday it rained so much, and some of the areas around Ambere Ward, they are a bit difficult in terms of transport. We hope as the day progresses.
By-elections are being held in Mominji and Evurore wards in Mbeere North Embu County, as well as the West Kabras ward in Kakamega County. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
And still on the by-elections, the sibling rivalry played out today in Isiolo South constituency by-election as UDA candidate Tubi Mohammed Tubi went head-to-head with his sister Bina Tubi of the Jubilee Party in a hotly contested race to succeed their father Mohammed Tubi, who passed on last year. As Emmanuel Tona reports, Bina's camp has since accused her brother's camp of election rigging, even as the election witnessed a very low turnout. Emmanuel Tona reports.
He arrived at the Algani polling station wearing a hopeful yet tense smile ahead of the do-or-die contest between him and his sister Bina Tubi, who is also gunning for the same seat on Jubilee Party ticket. And after casting his vote, Tubi, who is Bina's younger brother, explained how they got to the ballot despite high-level negotiations to have one of them step down.
Wajua siasa itambui ndugu wa madada, ila kuna mambo mingi kwa siasa. Kwa kila mtu ana goal yake. Kama mimi wazee walinichagua, wakaniekea kilemba na kusema, so siwezi ongelea sana upande yake, ila niko focused upande yangu.
Tubi got a shot in the arm after the NEDP candidate Isaac Fayo pulled out of the race in his favor, leaving the race to a family affair.
Kuna wale wanasema kwamba mmekelea multibet, double chance ya hii kiti. Dadako akikosa unapata, yeye akipata wewe unakosa pia, lakini bado inarudi kwa nyumba yenu. Ilikuwa hiyo ndio mlikuwa mmepanga mavipi?
Hapana, wajua kila mtu ana haki ya kusema, kila mtu ana haki ya fikra, ila mimi sijui hayo mambo. Toka baada ya mazishi mimi niliekelewa tu na wazee mambo yote na nilikuwa tu tayari kusonga.
A few kilometers from where her brother voted, Bina also showed up at Kina polling station with the hope of also clinching the same seat. Although she declined a media interview, her loyal supporters were fast to cry foul in the election process.
Is that this election is sham? This election is sham. We are not convinced. Thank you.
And in one incident here in Kina, we were able to identify bribery happening just behind the election room.
Sentiments which were quickly dismissed by the IBC officers manning the election.
We don't have voters' bribery within the precincts of polling stations. Polling stations are 400-meter radius area. That's the definition of a polling station.
Mimi sijaona utatanishi wowote. Sijaona cases ya wizi ya kura. Kama unavyojua tumekuwa na wewe hapa, tumezunguka katika kituo yote.
We are fully satisfied about the security arrangements in place.
This comes as a paltry 30% of the voters stand up for the election, raising questions over voter apathy. And after a day of voting, action now shifts to Garbatula High School, where the tallying process will begin, even as the residents of Isiolo South constituency wait with bated breath to know who their next member of parliament will be. Emmanuel Tona, Citizen TV, Garbatula High School, Isiolo South constituency, Isiolo County.
Right, it's time for another break here on the program. Tonight we've got the day's business and sports news, and don't forget later on, News Gang will be here.
Citizen Duka inawatakia Ramadhan Mubarak. Tumia muda mchache sokoni na muda mwingi kwa mambo yenye umuhimu zaidi. Bidhaa muhimu na halisi tena za kuaminika kwa bei nafuu, zikiletwa hadi mlangoni mwako. Fanya oda sasa kupitia Citizen Duka app ama kwenye tovuti ya citizenduka.com au tuma agizo lako kwa WhatsApp kupitia nambari 0710 487 487.
Citizen Duka, the home of discount.
Want to become a medic?
Train at Jordan College of Technology, School of Medical and Health Sciences for courses like mortuary science, orthopedic, perioperative theatre, caregiver, dental technology, biomedical engineering, nutrition, healthcare support, community health, science lab, ophthalmic and more. We boast of modern, well-equipped skills labs and have partnered with key hospitals for clinical rotations and attachments. Much intake is ongoing. Visit us at Jordan Towers, Thika Town. Jordan College of Technology, the best technical and medical institution in Kenya.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen. Tuko hapa kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Hai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku. Lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidiana.
Kims, nikatie stima hii weekend mimi.
Haina wasiwasi. Ukitupatia kama 2k ya lunch, tunaweza acha kukata sisi turudi ofisi.
Mimi niko na 1k tu.
Basi tuma 1500 tumalizane.
Sawa.
Umesikia? Wanajaribu kuchezea Jen hapa game rough kuruka. Sikiza. Hakuna mtu anafaa kukupigia simu akwambie ulipe kitu kidogo ama utoweka kitu ya lunch ati ndio usikatiwe stima. Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu kunifone.
Tumekuja kuwashika. Buda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
When I have back pain, I reach for 2 tablets of Panadol Extra. With unique Optizop technology, Panadol Extra provides 3 times more pain-relieving power than standard paracetamol for fast relief from strong pain like headache, toothache, and muscle pain, and can get to work in 10 minutes so that I am ready to be there for those who need me. Stronger pain relief at only 20 shillings per pair.
Na kuungamia Mungu Mwenyezi, nanyi ndugu zangu, kwani nimekosa mno kwa mawazo, kwa maneno, kwa vitendo na kwa kutotimiza wajibu. Nimekosa mimi, nimekosa sana. Ndio maana na kuomba Maria mwenye heri, Bikira daima, malaika na watakatifu wote, nanyi ndugu zangu, niombeeni kwa Bwana Mungu wetu. Mungu Mwenyezi atuhurumie, atusamehe dhambi zetu, atufikishe kwenye uzima wa milele. Amina.
Dial *811*415# to get ungamo la dhambi.
Shielding those you love is as easy as choosing Royal Mabati Factory Limited. Get corrugated and box profile at 388 per meter, brick tile at 401 and Roman tile at 500. Enjoy free delivery countrywide. Call us now on 0722 638383.
Certain crops, they thrive better in the greenhouses than they would be outside.
Good night, I love you.
Good night. I love you.
Join us on March 7th for USIU Africa's Open Day and learn about our American accredited degree programs, meet our highly qualified faculty, and discover a wide range of student support services. USIU Africa, education take you places.
Business News, brought to you by Safaricom Business.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, manage payments ni kwa rahisi. Join Safaricom Business today and power your progress.
A wave of leadership changes is sweeping across Kenya's corporate landscape with fresh appointments and transitions. The boardroom shifts come against a backdrop of profit pressures, regulatory reforms, and broader restructuring efforts across banking, insurance, and aviation. Here now is Jasmine Wamboy with the details of these changes.
At Standard Chartered Bank, Gladys Warira has been appointed Chief Financial Officer and Executive Director, pending approval from the Central Bank and the Capital Markets Authority. She will replace long-serving CFO Chemutai Murgor, who exits at the end of May this year. Murgor has spent more than 25 years at the bank. This follows the announcement of Kariuki Ngare's retirement from the role of CEO after more than 2 decades at the bank. Birju Sangrajkar has been lined up as successor subject to regulatory approval. Warira's appointment comes at a delicate time for the lender. The bank has issued a profit warning for the year ended December 2025, saying that net earnings will decline by at least 25%, largely due to pension settlement costs. In the insurance sector, East African Brewery's Chief Financial Officer, Rispa Genga Ohaga, who is set to leave the brewer at the end of June, will take up a new role as Group CEO of APA Apollo Group. Ohaga will succeed Ashok Shah, who has led the insurance group for 14 years. Her move marks a return to financial services after 6 years in manufacturing. Ohaga will be tasked with reversing a dip in profitability. APA Insurance posted a profit after tax of 926.7 million shillings in 2024, down from 1.1 billion shillings in 2023, despite insurance revenue rising to over 17 billion shillings. And in aviation, Kenya Airways has begun the search for a substantive CEO following the exit of Alan Kilavuka in December last year after a 6-year tenure. Former Chief Operating Officer Captain George Kemal has been holding fort as acting CEO. President William Ruto has also indicated that a new board will be constituted to support the carrier's recovery strategy. In the financial sector, Tamara Cook has stepped down as CEO at FSD Kenya to join the United Nations. She is succeeded by Rashmi Pillai, whose focus will be narrowing the financial health gap, with only about 18% of Kenyans considered financially healthy despite high access to financial services. The leadership changes point to a broader reset as firms navigate weaker earnings and evolving regulatory demands. Jasmine Wamboi, Citizen TV.
The Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs has unveiled the National Blue Economy Strategy set to guide the sector's agenda from 2025 to 2030. In the strategy, the ministry aims to take advantage of the bankable opportunities in the sector to attract and scale up investment. Through the strategy, government targets to raise the sector's earnings from the current 40 billion shillings to 350 billion by 2030, while at the same time increasing fish production from 163,000 metric tons to over 450,000 metric tons in the same period. In the plan, the ministry hopes to bolster sustainable utilization of resources through investment in technology that allows sustainable extraction. It is also banking on social economic safeguards to attract climate finance through blue carbon pilots, while pushing for skilled, smart workforce to create employment in the sector through partnership to attracting research funding. The strategy also sets out to tap into stable governance to attract investment from the private sector through blended finance and creating shared prosperity.
It's critical to have a national blue economy strategy that the private sector here, the development partners, the communities, the associations in the entire fraternity can unpack and have bankable projects and investment projects that can be able to raise the blue economy sector from the current earnings of 40 billion to at least 80 to 100 billion in the next 2 years and 350 billion by 2030.
For too long, the blue economy has been treated as peripheral rather than foundational to our economic planning. This strategy corrects that. It explicitly positions the blue economy and fisheries as core drivers of our growth, fully aligned with our aspirations under the Vision 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals.
Manufacturers are grappling with significant compliance gaps under Kenya's electronic tax invoice management system, ETIMS, with experts warning that limited awareness and persistent system challenges are undermining full adoption. At an industry forum bringing together tax technology experts, participants cited widespread operational disruptions linked to the transition from TIMS to ETIMS. Stakeholders emphasized the need for sustained engagement between industry and regulators to improve adoption of the system.
As much as ETIMS has been around for the last close to 3 years, the taxpayers were not aware of how to use it or how to use it consistently. Taxpayers are also not aware of the repercussions of not being ETIMS compliant or tax compliant for that matter, whereby you might not necessarily be able to claim your expenses, which means you pay more taxes just because you can't offset your income versus your expenses. And then on top of that, we've seen solutions that don't necessarily solve customers' issues. And a lot of the time, taxpayers also don't get the support they need from various solution providers.
Business News, brought to you by Safaricom Business.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, kumanage payments ni kwa rahisi. Join Safaricom Business today and power your progress.
It is a month that is imbued with spirituality and religious rites that instill joy, allow for forgiveness, and offer worshippers the ability to take another step forward towards salvation. Muslims around the world await the blessed holy month of Ramadan, as this month is an opportunity to bring families and societies closer together over acts of worship, shared meals, and helping those who are in need.
Habari ndugu, unaongea na Geoffrey hapa.
Habari Geoffrey.
Mimi nakupigia kuhusu ile request yako ya kupata connection ya stima. Sisi tunaweza kufanyia deal, ulipe pesa kidogo tu na sisi tukuharakishie connection yako.
Utanisaidia sana bwana Geoffrey.
Sisi tutafanya mambo iwe rahisi. Kwa kawaida utalipa 100,000 na utangojea siku mingi. Lakini ukitoa 20,000 saa hii, tunakuconnectia ukuwe na stima hata kesho.
Natuma saa hii.
We, hao matapeli wamekuja sana. Connection ya stima hufuata process. Hakuna shortcut. Shortcut ni ya wakora. Malipo yote ya Kenya Power hupitia channels rasmi peke yake.
We mzee, hizo ni gani unajaribu kunifanyia?
Tumekuja kuwashika, boda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
Brand Festival Nakafu. Enjoy fresh chicken leg quarter at 449 shillings per kg. Grape salt pepper red grams at 269 shillings. Golden fried vegetable oil 5 liters at 1,049 shillings. And LG 55-inch TV at 68,495 shillings. One big shopping sherehe. Nakafu.
Our bodies get serums and washes, but underarms only get deodorant? That's why our new breakthrough formula has pure hyaluron and vitamin C to deeply care for your underarms for soft and even skin tone in 2 weeks. With 72-hour sweat and odor protection, try the new Nivea Derma Control range because your underarms deserve more. Nivea is for skin.
Redmi Note 15 series comes with free gifts up to Kenya shillings 5,000 off.
There's no doubt Faith Kipyegon is definitely looking strong.
strong for her next race.
Every day hustle man, get the dough. From zetu moto hatujali madoito. Goal ni survival, ni dishikile na die. Unga ni moja, hakuna mix up. Mandazi, kusonga ni very fast. Chapati tamu tamu zikande bila was. Ugali ni moja na hakuna mix up. 210, ukisonga tunasonga chap chap. Ugali ni moja na watangazia injili. Ladha unasikizia utamu wa kiasili. 210 over 10, ukisonga tunasonga. 210 over 10, ukisonga tunasonga.
Hi, I'm Faith Kipyegon, triple Olympic champion, world champion. Na mi upenda food ya home. 210, unga yetu. Ladha ya nyumbani. Ukisonga, tunasonga na 210 unga.
210 over 10, ukisonga tunasonga.
Captain, watermelon, punchbowl. Yes, please. Captain, pineapple sizzle. Big vibes, banner. Hold up. Tulia. Did he just dip that wing into his captain in cola? Sheesh, love it. However you spice on.
Ukienda primary school unafikiria ni college, hata uwezi kujua ni primary. Amefanya maajabu.
Construction of this school has really improved.
Shule zote zimewekwa kapros. Shule zingine zilikuwa zinakaa kama za wazee kitambo, ziliangusha na mabadi karekebishwa.
Mheshimiwa thought it right to bring this Huduma Center close to us.
The best thing that he has done that I can be able to talk about as a director is providing education for his people.
When I took over the remains of this constituency in 2017, there were more than 17 schools that were mud walled.
Catch this documentary this Sunday at 2 p.m. on Citizen TV.
Certain crops, they thrive better in the greenhouses than they would be outside.
Good night, I love you.
Good night. I love you.
Join us on March 7th for USIU Africa's Open Day and learn about our American accredited degree programs, meet our highly qualified faculty, and discover a wide range of student support services. USIU Africa, education take you places.
KCB-FC have dented AFC Leopards' title aspiration with a 1-0 win at the Kasarani Stadium in a Kenya Premier League match on Thursday afternoon. Ingwe were looking for a win to cut the gap at the top to 3 points, but they now find themselves trailing Gor Mahia by 6 points after 21 matches. The lone goal for KCB was scored by David Sakwa in the second half of the match to lift KCB to the 8th position above Nairobi United and Tusker FC. Ingwe remains second on the log with 40 points, same as Shabana FC, but with a better goal difference. In another match, Kakamega Homeboys came from a goal down to hold Ulinzi Stars to a 1-1 draw. Boniface Mushiri opened the scoring for Ulinzi with a spectacular volley in the first half, while Kakamega Homeboys drew level through former Harambee Stars striker Piston Mutamba. AP's Bomet lost 1-0 at home to Kariobangi Sharks, Sofapaka losing 2-0 to Police FC, while Bidco United and Mara Sugar settled for a 2-2 draw. The second leg of the Kenya Volleyball Federation Women's League continued today with 2 matches at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. DCI were in ruthless form against Kenya Army, winning in straight sets. The opening set was close, but the Detectives got the better of the Soldiers in a 25-20 win. Kenya Army lost the momentum in the second set to go down 25-15. The Soldiers were totally subdued in the third set that was quickly won by DCI 25-14 to take the match 3-0. In the second match of the day, Postbank shocked KDF 3-1 in a match played at the same venue. Postbank won the first 2 sets 25-18 and 25-23 before KDF took the third set 21-25. The deciding set was a tight one, but Postbank eventually won 25-22. French Development Agency, together with the NBA, today held the Basketball Experience Teachers Awareness Day in the final year of the program that aims to strengthen youth development through sports. More than 100 teachers and youth basketball coaches converged at the Nyayo National Stadium for the whole-day exercise. The training focused on basketball fundamentals, life skill integration, and the junior NBA curriculum. This is part of a broader basketball experience program. The organizers say it is key in growing basketball skills in Kenya, which will hopefully help in finding and nurturing new basketball talents.
That we've learned here have been very impactful to us too. These are things that we're going to add as part of our coaching philosophy, so that when we go out there, we're going back to our learners to teach them what we've learned from this forum.
When we get the teachers learn the right things at the right time, then eventually we train the children very well. And at the Kenya Academy of Sports, by the time they are coming for elitism, and we find that there is nothing we are doing, but the children are able to implement and get to high levels.
As we helping the coaches, we provide them with the tools. They would then, make sure that these kids are learning not only how to play basketball, but life skills that will help them becoming great citizens in the future.
With less than 2 weeks to the 2026 WRC Safari Rally, Nikhil Sachania has stepped up his preparations with a second test session in Stony Athi. The 2026 edition marks a significant shift as the rally drops its traditional Nairobi ceremonial start to focus entirely on the unforgiving terrain surrounding Lake Naivasha. Crews will tackle 20 special stages spread across 4 demanding days in what promises to be another wet rally. Sachania, who will compete in the WRC2 category in a Ford Fiesta Rally 2, says the latest test was critical in ensuring the car is set for Safari's brutal conditions.
It looks like everything has been sorted, so we came out here today on Wednesday just to ensure that the car is functioning the way it should be during the event. So we did hit some rough here and took some corners a bit flat out to kind of feel how the car is moving.
All right, that's it for the news tonight. But coming up next is News Gang. We have much to talk about in the political scene. A lot can happen in a week, and a lot has happened in a week. So stay tuned for News Gang, which is coming up in just a few minutes.